China at present is one of the most powerful countries on earth. Can you imagine that around 40 years ago, this country had a poverty rate higher than 80%? Poverty and hunger were extensive, causing immense suffering across the nation. But then in the next 3 decades, a terrifying transformation took place, and this country reached heights beyond imagination. In 1978, China's contribution to the global GDP was around 2%. But today, it contributes more than 18% of the global GDP. Its poverty rate from 80% has now dropped to less than 1%, and China has become the world's second largest economy. It could be considered a superpower in many aspects. But how did this transformation happen? Was it like magic? The name China originates from the ancient Qin dynasty, which unified the region around 2000 years ago. The Arabs gave porcelain white sugar in subcontinent, which is called chini in Arab. China, however, was named from the Arab word chin, which was popularized in Europe by Marco Polo. China's history is long and complex, with its center of power shifting over the centuries. It was once the world's center during the Middle Ages, when it held significant influence. Today, China is the world's fourth largest country bordering India. However, most of its population lives far away from India's border, because the fertile land for agriculture is concentrated in specific regions. To the west, there are Himalayan mountains and deserts, which influence China's development. China experienced significant success and power until the 19th century. After that, it faced the effects of colonization. Although British rule never fully occupied China like some other countries on the Indian subcontinent, still China was exploited in various ways. From 1839 to 1849, the Opium Wars with Britain caused tremendous damage to China. Then in the 1850s, the Taiping Rebellion resulted in millions of deaths. In the early 20th century, Japan invaded China, leading to the Sino-Japanese War. These events marked some of the darkest periods in China's history. The Chinese Communist Party and the Nationalist Party fought a civil war between 1927 and 1949. After the Communist victory, the People's Republic of China was established on October 1, 1949, with Mao Zedong as the leader. Mao initiated various policies like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, aiming for an economic and social transformation in the country. However, these policies led to disastrous consequences. From 1958 to 1961, the Great Chinese Famine struck, and around 30 to 40 million people lost their lives. During the Cultural Revolution, the Red Guards played a significant role. They were loyal soldiers of Chairman Mao, identified by the red armbands they wore. Their primary mission was to target those who were against Mao's ideology, including intellectuals, party officials, and anyone not fully loyal to Mao. It led to public humiliation, violence, and surveillance against those perceived as enemies. Their guards were mostly young people who blindly followed Mao's revolutionary ideas. China has come a long way since those turbulent times and has experienced unprecedented economic growth and development. Its transformation from a penniless nation to a global economic powerhouse has been nothing short of remarkable. Today, China stands as one of the leading players in the world's geopolitical landscape, and its influence continues to grow. The journey of China from its ancient history to its modern success, is truly an awe-inspiring tale of resilience and determination. In 1968, the Red Guard system, which controlled everything, was abolished, and Deng Xiaoping's policies of economic liberalization and agriculture reforms brought significant transformations in China. Farmers gained more rights and freedom to choose what crops to grow, how to conduct their business, and where to sell their products, leading to increased motivation, innovation, and productivity among them. The education system also saw significant changes during Deng's time, with compulsory education introduced in 1986, providing free education for all children for 9 years. China focused on revolutionizing education, making it a key priority in the country. Overall, Deng's ideology was different from Mao's, and his policies brought significant economic and social changes to China, focusing on liberalization, education, and development. This transformation led to a decline in percentage of GDP spent on education, signaling China's progress and development in the field of education. They are developed because education has been given such high priority. Due to these measures, China has witnessed a remarkable improvement in literacy rate. In 1982, the literacy rate in China was 65%, which increased to 95% by 2010. In comparison, India's total literacy rate is still at 77%. Similarly, for healthcare expenditure, China stands out. In 2021, China allocated 5.59% of its GDP on healthcare, while India spends around 2.96% in 2020. Both countries share similar goals here, focusing on economic growth and improving living standards for their people. In India, the growth mainly is in cooperative, agriculture, and dairy sectors. However, in China, development can be seen across almost all sectors: textile, electronics, manufacturing, and services. A notably impressive example is Wenzhou, where local people started by establishing small footwear companies, which later grew to become a major export sector in China. China's emphasis on education, skilled labor, and experience played a significant role in these achievements. Shenzhen, which was just a small fishing village a few decades ago, has transformed into a major international metropolis. Its GDP has merely zero point 0.3 billion in 1980, but by 2020 it had reached to $420 billion. The Chinese government's policy encouraged foreign companies to invest in the country, opening up China's economy to the world. These economic liberalizations started in China as early as 1978, while India followed the suit in 1990s. Multinational companies like Nike, Apple, and Volkswagen set up their manufacturing facilities in China, which significantly contributed to its economic growth. Infrastructure development also received a significant focus, with the government investing in railways and public transportation. Additionally, scientific research became a priority, with China establishing research centers and funding various scientific fields. China's pragmatic and systematic approach to reforms has allowed it to navigate through various challenges and adapt its policies. The government's decisive decisions have often yielded positive results. However, some critics argue that individual freedoms and democracy have been compromised in the process. Despite this, China continues to implement measures for its citizens' well-being, especially during the pandemic, where strict lockdowns were imposed. For now, if you like this video, please share your view in the comment section. And remember to reward us with your subscription and likes.